Hello everyone, this is R&B Jewels with STO Handmade Jewelry and Craft Spot. Today we're going to do a even count peyote stitch bracelet. I do apologize that I don't have a sample. I thought I did have a sample of a bracelet that I did. It was probably years ago, but I don't know where that bracelet is. So we're going to design one together from scratch. And to do that, we're going to use two colors. We're going to use this beautiful spring green or lime green, if you want to call it that. And then we're going to use this beautiful hot pink color. And then we're going to add some crystal embellishments. And you're going to need a clasp for that. Your scissors so you can cut and tie off your threads and cut off loose ends, and have your trusty jewel pliers. These are chain nose pliers. It's just to flatten out your thread to make it easier to go through the needle. And I use Wildfire. You can use Fireline, any durable thread that you want to use that can withstand the weight of your bracelet, and also that you can have long wear and use. So this is why I like to use Wildfire. And then also, a ruler is very handy, so you can measure out what your length is in your bracelet when you make it, so you know how far you are. And then, of course, your 11-0. I'm sorry, I always say 11-0. Your size 11 beading needle and your thread, one arm span full of thread. Okay, so let's get started. With the peyote stitch, is I think a lot easier than any of the other stitches that I have learned, and there are some very complicated stitches out there which I will be sharing with you on my channel. A lot of these stitches are going to be relevant because the end goal is to start teaching bead embroidery jewelry, which that's my specialty. I love to do bead embroidery jewelry, but before we get there, I have to show you these stitches because that's actually how I learned it. I had to learn all of the steps before I could start having fun. So what we're going to do first is pick up an 11-0 C bead. Okay, you're going to bring it all the way down to about 5 or 6 inches, because with even count peyote, you will use the other side of the bread to, I said bread, thread, to tie off and potentially add other beads on the other side. So, and I will show you how to add thread. It's also much easier to add thread with the peyote stitch. So what you're going to do is you're going to lock in your thread. This is what creates your with a bead stopper. This bead stopper right here will stop beads from falling. Hope you can see it. There you go. We'll stop the beads from falling off as we count. And even count, you can choose whatever colors that you want, or you can choose a solid color that you want. Sorry for the interruption. So as I was saying, you put the bead on here to create a stop bead so that your beads don't fall off. So we're going to pick up 6 beads. What I was saying was you can choose any color that you want. I chose pink and green because right now here in the United States. If you're watching abroad, it's springtime here, and I'm trying to work with happier colors. So this is why I chose pink and green, and make a fun bracelet. And that, as I was saying, you can choose to do one solid color. You can use two colors, three colors. If you wanted to do a complete color block, but I'm only going to do two colors because I see this fun bracelet in my mind that I, want to share. So, and I don't want to make the bracelet extremely wide, so I picked up, let me see, 6. Let's pick up 8. The first row is the row that kind of looks the wonkiest a little bit sometimes, and that's okay. You have to take your time, and you're going to stitch in between each of the beads. And then once you do that first row, we're just going to be filling in the spaces in between each bead. And each row, it takes 2 rows to, if we were going to close it, but I will show how to do that in another video. I'm getting like super ahead of myself, and I apologize for that. So we're going to bring this down. Okay. And I generally hold it like this because they do move, and you want to make sure that your beads stay. And you want to pick up a bead, and you want to go through the next bead like this. Hold your bead and bring it all the way down. And sometimes your bead will do just like this, and that's okay. You just take your needle and bring it in and bring it down. And it's going to do this in the first row. So this way you're going to have to control the bead. And then you're going to pick up another bead. You're going to skip this bead and go to the next bead. And I do want to say you want to sew down to your bracelet size. So for me, I mostly wear a 7.5 or an 8, depending on the bracelet. Lately, I've been wearing a size 8, and that's okay. So I'll sew down to a size 7, and I'll use the 1/2 inch on each side of the bracelet for the clasp and for the loop for the complete closure. So we'll get to that. So let me make sure all of my items are moved out of the way. And you will use 1 arm span to get started. Depending, you may need more. So as you can see, like I said, the first row is like, it gets really wonky. The second row, you will definitely see more control. Okay. So you're going to skip this bead and sew down to the next bead. And you definitely want to hold it in place. So you can see how it's starting to come together and look more controlled. You're going to pick up another bead. You're going to skip this bead. Do not go through the stop bead. Only go through the other pink bead. Come out like that. Now with this one, you will be flipping your work over a lot. Make sure that the bead is straight. Okay, I don't know if you heard that little snap. And if you hear noise in the background, it's because the air is on. So now, at this point, we're just going to fill in after you do the first row. You're going to pick up a bead, you're going to come through, come all the way down. Make sure that the bead is laying in a little space. And sometimes you hear a snap, maybe because sometimes I sew too tightly. And, you know, so they snap a bit. Not break, but snap in place. So, see that? And, you know, you can also play with this. This is a very simple design that we're going to do. So you definitely can play with it, okay? Because remember, we're designing it as we go. And that's the fun part, because sometimes I plan designs and I go off the mark all the time. So, no bigs. Sometimes it turns out better that way. So you want to pick up your seed bead, and you just want to fill in the space. This is peyote stitch. It's that simple for this stitch. And you do want to take your time, because even though it's a simple stitch, the thread gets kind of tricky and it wants to go off on its own thing. And then you're fighting the thread. So that's this one. So now we're going to see, let me see. We're going to flip it over. So what you want to do, you want to make sure when you see 3 beads on both sides, then we're going to switch to the other color. So we're going to do the pink one more time. And then we're going to switch to the other color. It's not going to interfere with it. It's just going to blend in right with it. So we're not going to get technical with shading and gradiating colors. We're going to do very hard color block colors. Okay. So now that we have 3 on this side, now we're going to switch to the green. And you're still going to do the peyote stitch. Sorry if you hear the airplanes or jets outside. I live near an Air Force base, so you may hear that sometimes. And this is looking so nice. I love how the colors are coming together. They're happy. I've seen this color palette a lot. Sorry for shaking the camera, but I've never attempted using the color palette. We see we have a pink one that wants to be friends. You are going to be friends, but on the bracelet. So when you turn, you're going to just fill it in, and you're going to add the green. So I'm gonna finish this green row with you, and then we're gonna work on this bracelet. I'm gonna let you work on this bracelet all the way down to your bracelet length, and then we'll come back and do the next steps. Because there are times that I'll say, oh, we're going to put the clasp on. And honestly, my creative senses take over, and then I'll want to do something else. So I have to learn to stick to the script. And I'm not good at that because I like to have fun when I am designing jewelry, but I have to be aware that it's not just about me, it's about you also. So again, as you can see, we're just filling it in. And you can pretty much use any bead that you want. Now, if you happen to get delicate beads, I would not use them for this. Because I don't know, to me, it's just not for this project. I think it's a little bit more delicate, and you can use it for something else. But I definitely would use a different bead that's like, you could use a check glass bead, or you can use a Toho bead, which they're made of glass, and they don't break easy. Delicate beads, they do break relatively easy. I've had that experience. This is so cool. So they do that. And if you want, even though this is a simple design, you can do 2 rows. You don't have to do the 3 rows like I'm doing and then go back to the other color. If you just want a little bit of the color. So see, like right here, like we have the 2 beads on this side here, and then we can go back. If you want one color to be more dominant than the other, you can do that, which I think that's what I'm gonna do. And after I finish this row here, we're gonna talk about the next step, and then you can go down and sew to your bracelet length. The thing is, you just have to pay attention to the pattern that you're creating when you do your piece. So that's the main thing. Just take your time and create your pattern. And I do want to say this. If you happen to be looking at this video at night, I would not suggest you bead, or anytime really, when you're tired, because you'll make a lot of mistakes. That's guaranteed. I've done it and then have to get up the next day and either start over, take it out, or reconfigure the design around it. And, you know, sometimes if you just, you know, you don't have to do that. If you just get the proper rest that you need before you start beading. You know, being tired and exhausted is not it. I know that beading can be very fun and relaxing, but, you know, you don't want to be tired and sleepy when you're beading. So I've learned that the hard way, and I've made a plethora of mistakes doing that. So I just want to share that with you so that, you know, as you're beading, or if you're learning to bead, these are some very, very helpful tips that I've learned in beading. So, apologize for the noise in the background. So, I'm going to stop with you right here. Just remember that if you're going to do a design, whether you choose like one row, which would be, and not add this row, remember to pay attention to the numbers of your beads in your row. Like I have 2 on this side, 2 on that side. And then I started just like I have 3 on this side and 3 on that side. So you want to be aware of your design and the rhythm and the pattern of your piece so that it can be even and consistent. So you want to sew down to your bracelet length, and then we will come back. Hello. I wanted to come back for a second. Wanted to show you, this is as far as I have gotten, which is about 4 inches. Let's measure it. Let's see me and my trusty ruler right here. Yeah, almost 4 inches. So, excuse me, depending on your arm span, you can get up to 4 inches done with your thread. So as you can see, I'm out of thread. So I wanted to show you really quickly how to add a new thread. Now remember that we came out of here, so the goal is to come back through this thread here, and that's what we're going to do. So what you're going to do, you're going to hold your piece and you're going to come back down through here, and then you want to go over on the side a little bit. I have to pause. I'll be right back. We're back. I'm sorry I had to take care of something really quickly, but I'm back. So you want to come down through, okay? And what you want to do is come down. You're going to see the little threads. You're going to come up through that thread. Sometimes it's a little tough, but you can get through it. And what you want to do is bring your needle through. Sometimes what I do, so I don't miss that, I will back out of the thread and come out that way and pull my needle out and pull it through, and then go down through the bead. That way it will hide the knot in it. Okay. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors, and sometimes I like to take the plier and hold it down. That way I could slide it through, and then it'll hide the other little piece. So put the little needle, put this little piece of thread aside. What we're going to do, you're going to come back and you're going to pull out some more thread. And these ends are really round and sometimes have like little strands. And so what you want to do is you want to flatten it out as much as possible. Okay. And then you take your thread and push it through like that. Pull it through. And then take another arm span of thread. I know you can't see me do this, but whatever your arm span is, or let me say, if working with longer thread is too much, you can use whatever length that is actually comfortable for you. But just be aware that you will be adding more thread, probably several more times than using the one arm spanner thread. So whatever works for you, that's fine. So what you're gonna do, okay, you're gonna take your needle, because we wanna work our way, yeah, to getting to this bead right here. We wanna work our way to getting to this bead. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up this bead right here. And you don't have to put a really long piece of thread, because this thread here that we're adding is going to get in the way of your beading. Okay, and I just pulled it out while I was talking, and that's okay because we're going to do it again. And be careful so that your thread doesn't get raveled or get in a position where it can get raveled or tangled up easily because you're pulling it through the bead. Okay. So you just need enough, maybe like a 1/2 inch, just enough so that you can cut it. So what you want to do is find a thread close to it like this and come through it. Be careful again to not pull it so hard, because the thread can get really curly and get itself in a position where it says, okay, we're going to tangle up here, and that is something we don't want. Okay, take your needle and pull it through. You don't have to do a double knot with this, because we're going to sew through so many beads that it's going to get secured, but you do want to pull it. Okay, so what you want to do is go up to the next bead. And let me put all of this stuff out the way, because it will get tangled up in it, because I'm using a long piece of thread. I'm just knocking everything over, but that's okay. Okay. And you want to go up the next thread. Now, as you sew up the thread, well, see, this little piece is getting in the way. It's getting in the way already, but that's okay. Okay, let me see. Where am I? Okay, let's pull this over. Pull this up. Make sure I'm in frame so you all can see what I'm doing. Okay. And we're going to go up this one right here, making sure that you can see everything, and pulling the thread slowly. I have a tendency to pull it fast. You know, one, because I've been doing it a long time. Just because I've been doing it a long time doesn't mean that I'm doing it the right way. So we're going to go up 2 beads. You're going to go up this bead, and you're going to go up this bead, and you're going to pull it gently. Why? Because you're going through 2 beads. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can go through the 1 bead and then come back up through the other bead. Whichever way you're comfortable with it, that works for you, that is absolutely great. Okay, so now you're in position to finish beading. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to add this 1 bead just to show you. Now you're in position to start back beading. So now I'm going to let you go back and finish beading to your bracelet length. When I reach the size 7, I will be back, and we can finish. We can go on to the next step. So we're back. I have sewn down to my 7 inches. Okay, we are going to add embellishments to the side, but first what we're going to do is we're going to add the hook and the clasp to the bracelet. So to do this, you're going to, because we're going to work with this middle section right here, right up in there. So to do this, we're going to go through this bead. Okay. And then we're going to go up through this bead. Here. And then you want to come up through this bead here. And then you want to come up through this bead. And what we're going to do, we're going to pick up a crystal, a bead. Okay, that bead. Sometimes you're going to run into beads that the hole isn't, doesn't go all the way through because it's clogged up or something in the process of them making the beads. You're going to pick up 3 beads, the clasp, and 3 beads. Okay, let's push this down. The clasp, 3 beads. Okay. And you're going to allow it to drop down like that. And then you're going to come back down through the crystal, come all the way down. And then you're going to pick up another bead. And you're going to come out on this side. Okay. Come all the way down. Now, in order for us to go around a couple of times, you're going to have to figure out how to maneuver back through these beads, which with this stitch, it's pretty easy to maneuver. I think I made a mistake. Let me see. Nope, I didn't. Okay. So you're going to go back up through this bead. You're going to find the path. So we're going to go through 1 bead at a time so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay. Make sure that your thread is through that side. And then you're going to come up again through that middle bead. And then, let me see. Yeah, because you're going to have to come up on the other side. You're going to go back down through that bead. I'm sorry if I wasn't in frame. And then come down through that bead. Okay, and I'm going to turn it so you can kind of see it, and then you're going to come back up this side. Okay, and then, well, let's just come up through the 1 bead at a time instead of the 2. And you're going to come up through that side. And then you're going to come up through the bead and the crystal. And then you're going to go up. You're going to come through. Again. You're going to repeat this process again to come down. Come back down through the crystal. Sorry for shaking the camera. You're going to come back down. Okay. And you're going to go through this bead. Be careful because sometimes it may look like, let me see. Yeah, then come back through that side. And sometimes when your beads wiggle a little bit and they look a little bit uncooperative, they will cooperate. You just have to take your time and let the bead work through. Okay. You're going to come down through that side. The thing is, you want to put yourself in position so that you can go back up the other side. Let me see what just happened. Ah, it got caught on the hook. Okay. You come back up. And then as you can see, you are in position to go back up through the beads. Again, I'm going to do one bead at a time. So you have to take your time because there is still room in the bead. But sometimes the way it's turned, you just have to take your time. And then you're going to come back up. Come up through there. Sorry if my hand was in the way. You're going to come back down. Okay. And then what we're going to do this time, you're going to come out. You're going to come through. And then you're going to go through this bead and put yourself in position so that, wait a minute, I was just grabbing at the thread. Now, obviously, we're not going to try to come back through that side again. And you're going to put yourself in position to get ready to do some bead embellishments. That's on this side. But before we do that, we're going to go on the other side and we're going to do the same exact thing. Okay? So you're going to take your needle off. And you're going to take the stop bead off. And then we're going to take our pliers, and we're going to flatten the thread so it can go through. Okay, there's the needle. And we're going to push that through. Okay, and we're going to do the same exact thing because we're going to work between these two right here. So we're gonna go back down, we're gonna go up this side here. And let me move this out the way so you can see it. And then we're gonna go up this side. Now on this side, we're making the loop. Okay? Then you're coming up through this side. So this is why you had to add like the 5 to 6 inches on that side. And so what you're going to do, here's the other crystal. You're going to pick up a bead, a crystal. Then you're going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beads. So let's make sure we got 9. And you're going to allow them to drop down like we did on the other side. And you're going to let go through the crystal. And then you're going to pick up another bead. And you're going to go through the other side. And then allow it to come back down. Okay? And so, excuse me, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go through this bead. We're doing the same thing that we did on this side. Come back up. Let's see. Come back up there. Go through the bead. And the crystal. And you're going to come around. Let's see here, so you can always hold it so you have more control while you're stitching. Then you're going to go back through the crystal again. And when you come out, you're going to come down. Sorry for the noise. And you're going to position yourself to get ready to add bead embellishments. Okay. Okay. We'll be right back because I need to go and get some 15-0 seed beads. So I have to pause for a moment and we'll come back. So we're back. I decided to get a 15-0 seed bead to add it to the design. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out, and you can use whatever color 15 seed bead that you have to add to your design to embellish the size. Now if you want, you can stop right here. The bracelet is fine for those of you who don't want any bling on your bracelet, but I love bling. So you're going to take your 3 seed beads, drop them down where the hole is, and then you're going to go see where the 3 seed beads at right there. You're gonna go back down through the same hole and come out. So we're literally gonna be zigzagging, okay? And this is a form of picot edging. You can also use picot edging to do other things. So then you pick up a crystal, you pick up a bead, and the purpose of picking up the bead, besides adding design, is to make sure that the crystal stays on the bead. The crystal stays in the design, it doesn't fall off when you pull the bead down like this, okay? And then you're gonna pick up, you're gonna do the same thing on both sides. And if you need to add thread, you're gonna add thread the same way that I showed you to add thread, and then you're gonna find your way back to the side hole where you're working, and then you will continue. So then you'll pick up 3 more beads, let them drop down. And then, I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. And you're gonna let them drop down. And find a little way. This is so cute. Oh my goodness, this is just so cute. And it's just adding so much texture to the design. I love bling. When I'm feeling kind of sad and I'm wearing my jewelry and I see some sparkle, you know, that helps me to pep up the beautiful colors. And also, look how it's changing the design. It's just beautiful. So you're going to continue, and you're going to do the same exact thing on both sides, and then we're going to come back when your bracelet is finished, and we're going to talk about the finished piece, and that's going to be it for this class. So I see you when you finish. We're back, and I hope you had a wonderful time crafting this art jewelry bracelet from start to finish. If you stayed to the end and added some bling, yay, yay. You have some bling that you can indeed have with you throughout your day. Let me do this here. I don't know what's wrong with me and me putting jewelry on. There it is. So there you got it. This is so pretty from start to finish. I hope you enjoyed making this bracelet with me. Until next time, happy crafting.